Greetings. My name is Anthea Pereira, and I shall now start with my task 1. A poem, Television, by Roald Dahl. The most important thing we've learned so far, our children are concerned, is never, never let them near your television set, or better still, just don't install that idiotic thing at all. In almost every house we've watched them gaping at the screen. They loll and slop and lounge about and stare until their eyes pop out. Last week, in someone's house, we saw a dozen of eyeballs on the floor. They sit and stare and stare and sit until they are hypnotized by it, until they're absolutely drunk. And with all that shocking, gassy junk, oh yes, we know, it keeps them still. They don't climb out the windowsill. They don't fight, kick, and punch. They leave you free to cook the lunch. But did you ever stop to think what this does to your beloved thought? It rots the sense in the head. It kills imagination dead. It clogs and clutters up the mind. It makes a child so dull and blind. He can no longer understand a fantasy, a fair land. His powers of thinking rust and freeze. His brain becomes as soft as cheese. All right, you'll say, all right, you'll cry. But what if we take that set away? What shall we do to entertain our darling children? You don't know? Have you forgotten? We'll say it very loud and slow. They used to read. They'd read and read and read and then proceed to read some more. Great Scott Gadsocks! The younger ones had Beatrix Potter and Mr. Todd the Dirty Rotter and Squirrel Nutcling and Pigling Bland and just how the camel caught his hump and the monkey lost his rump and Mr. Todd, oh bless my soul, there's Mr. Nate and Mr. Mole. Oh books they used to know. Those children living long ago. So please, oh please, we beg and we pray. Go throw your TV set away and in its place install a lovely bookshelf on the wall and then fill the shelf with a lot of books, ignoring all the dirty looks, the fights, the kicks, the punch, and children hitting you with sticks. Because fear not, because we promise you that in a week or two of having nothing else to do, they now find the need of having something to read. And once they start, oh boy, you'll see their slowing, growing joy. They'll fill their hearts, they'll grow so keen, they'll wonder what they'd ever seen. And that nauseating, foul, unclean, repulsive television screen. And then later, each and every kid will love you even more for what you did. Thank you. I shall now proceed to my task 2, a speech by Michelle Obama at the Democratic National Convention. Good evening, everyone. It's a hard time, and everyone's feeling it in different ways. And I know a lot of you folks are reluctant to tune in into a political convention or to politics in general. Believe me, I get that. But I am here tonight because I love this country with all my heart. And it pains me to see so many people hurting. I've met so many of you. I've heard your stories. And through you, I have seen this country's promise. Thanks to toil, sweat, and blood, I have been able to live that promise myself. That's the story of America. All those folks who sacrificed and overcame so much in their own times because they wanted something more, something better for their kids. There's a lot of beauty in that story, but there's a lot of pain in it too. A lot of struggle and injustice and work left to do. And who we choose as our president in this election will determine whether or not we honor that struggle and chip away the injustice. I am one of a handful of people living today who have seen the immense weight and awesome power of the presidency. And let me once again tell you this: the job is hard. It requires clear headed judgment, a mastery of complex and competing issues, a devotion to facts and history, a moral compass, and an ability to listen that each of the 330 million lives in this country has meaning and worth. A president's words has the power to move markets. They can start wars or broker peace. They can summon our better angels or awaken our worst instincts. You simply cannot fake your way through this job. As I've said before, being president does not change who you are. Well, it reveals who you are. While a presidential election can reveal who we are too. Thank you. I shall now move on to my task 3, a prose. The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. Tom appeared on the sidewalk with a bucket of white wash and a long handled brush. He surveyed the fence, sighed, and then dipped his brush into the whitewash. Slowly he began his work, dragging the brush along the wooden planks of the fence. Just then, Ben Rogers came down the street, munching on an apple and imitating the sound of a steamboat. Ding dong, clear the track, Ben shouted. He noticed Tom and stopped. Hello, old chap, what's up? Work, replied Tom gloomily. Work? What do you call work? Said Ben. Why, ain't that work? Said Tom, pointing at the fence. Well, maybe it is, and maybe it ain't. All I know, it suits Tom Sawyer. Tom continued painting the fence, pretending not to notice Ben's interest. Say, Tom, Ben said, leaning closer, you don't mean to tell me you like it? Like it? Ben stopped his brush mid-stroke. Well, I don't see why I ought to like it. Does a boy get a chance to whitewash a fence every day? Ben's interest grew. Why, isn't it just a fence? Tom stepped back and surveyed his work critically. Well, maybe it is, and maybe it ain't. But it's not every day you get a chance to make something look this fine. Say, Tom, let me try a little. Ben hesitated. Tom hesitated, pretending to think over it. No, I reckon it would hardly do. And plus, Aunt Polly's really particular about this fence right here on the street. Maybe if it was the back one, maybe. But this one's different. Oh, come on, Tom. I'll be careful. I'll, I'll give you the rest of my apple. Tom sighed and put on a reluctant expression. Well, I suppose I could let you have a try. But remember, Ben, you don't want to mess this up. Sure, Ben said, eagerly, handing over the apple and grabbing the brush. Tom smiled at himself as Ben went to work. Soon, other boys came by, and Tom repeated his performance, training the brush with marbles, a tin soldier, and even a kite string. By the end of the afternoon, the fence had 3 coats of whitewash, and Tom had a pile of treasures. He smiled, marveling at his genius. Huh, there's nothing like making a boy want what he can't have, he muttered, smiling to himself. Thank you. I shall now move on to my task 4, expressive reading. Bernice Bobs Her Hair by F. Scott Fitzgerald. While Marjorie was breakfasting late next day, Bernice came into the room with a rather formal good morning, sat down opposite, and stared intently over and slightly moistened her lips. What's on your mind? Inquired Marjorie, rather puzzled. Bernice paused before she threw her hand grenade. I heard what you said about me to your mother last night. Marjorie was startled, but she showed only a faintly heightened color, and her voice was even quiet when she spoke. Where were you? In the hall. I didn't mean to listen at first. After an involuntary look of contempt, Marjorie dropped her eyes and became very interested in balancing a stray cornflake on her finger. I'd guess I'd go back to a Claire if I'm such a nuisance after all. Bernice's lower lip was trembling violently, and she continued on a wavering note. I've tried to be nice, and I've been first neglected and then insulted. No one ever visited me and got such treatment. Marjorie was silent. But I'm in the way, see? I'm a drag on you. Your friends don't like me. She paused and then remembered another one of her grievances. Of course, I was furious last week when you tried to hint me that my dress was unbecoming. Don't you think I know how to dress myself? No, murmured Marjorie, less than half loud. What? I didn't hint anything, said Marjorie succinctly. I said, as I remember that it's better to wear a becoming dress 3 times straight than to alternate it with 2 frights. Do you think it was a very nice thing to say? I wasn't trying to be nice. Then, after a pause, when do you want to go? Thank you. I shall now move on to my task 5, which is reflection. Question 1. How did you connect to your character's emotional journey through one of your performances? According to me, I connected very well with the Michelle Obama speech at the National Democratic Convention, as it showed signs of hope, urgency, the way she portrayed her voice with so much power, with so much determination. When she said that's the story of America, she wanted to tell people how much importance, and she wants America to succeed. And her voice, her vocal delivery was amazing. I was very emotionally connected with the speech, the way she tried to, kind of show the struggle, injustice, and everything. That's why I thought it was a very emotional, and I emotionally connected with it. Connected with it. Question 2. What did you do in preparation and rehearsal to help you bring words, characters of one of your pieces off the page? Um, for example, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. I started with breathing exercises and also did vocal delivery practice, voice modulation, hand gestures, because in the prose passage, the tones kept varying, hand gestures were different, and my main focus was bringing Ben and Tom's characters to life. I also tried a lot of pauses, you know, with the voices to make a difference between Ben and Tom, because obviously they had various voices and various tones. I also used a lot of hand gestures, facial expressions to show the difference between the two characters. Um, and that's how I um, help bring words and characters of one of my pieces off the page. Question 3. What did you do to keep your voice and body safe for an effective performance? Uh, in my opinion, I think it is very important to keep both your voice and body safe for an effective performance. So, for my task 1, television, I used a very jovial voice. I use pauses wherever needed. I use hand gestures wherever needed. You know, and I kind of went with the flow of the poem rather than exaggerating a lot. For my second, the Michelle Obama speech at the National Democratic Convention, I used a very sharp, powerful voice to show the urgency she had in her speech. She had a very sharp voice when she said, "That's the story of America." My body language, my hand gestures all contributed to make her speech come to life. Um, for the prose passage, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain, I did breathing exercises and also worked on my pauses to kind of differentiate between both the characters. For my expressive reading, I focused more on my vocal delivery and my hand gestures to show both Bernice and Marjorie's characters. Um, and yeah, that's how I kept my body and voice safe for effective performance. Question 4. What challenges does a chosen style of writing of one of your pieces present vocally? Uh, for the poem Television by Roald Dahl, the tones kept varying. Uh, the voice modulation kept varying. For example, when it started, it said, "Oh, his brain becomes as soft as cheese. His powers of thinking rust and freeze." It's just a very sharp, strong voice to kind of describe the effect of television on children. But then when it changed, oh boy, what books they used to know. Those children living long ago. It had a very calm, jovial voice. So I did feel that the voice and tones kept varying across the poem. and any kind of disrupt in the pauses would lead to not having it executed well. But these challenges help me perform the television poem in a very exciting manner and challenging manner. Yeah, thank you. This concludes my Trinity Grade 6 assessment with all 5 tasks completed. May you have a good day ahead. Thank you.